Yo, what's up guys? We got pokeaimMD here. Today we have a Moveset video guide for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl on how to use both Magneton and Magnezone. Yes, you can use both, especially depending on the tiers you're playing, whereas Magnezone sees a lot of OU usage. Magneton can also be used in OU, but was also used a lot in UU and usually lower tiers as well. If you guys do enjoy these Moveset video guides, make sure you leave a like. Let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see me cover in the next video. And also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm on my way to 300k. That is my end of the year goal. So if you like the content, upload 2 to 3 Pokemon videos a day. Later today we have a show on live, and I think we're using cast form in OU. That'll be a lot of fun. And then I'm also gonna have a third video. No idea what it's gonna be. It might be a Wi-Fi battle. It might be a talking video. We'll see when I get there. And lastly, today is the final day to pick up my celebration merch for the launch of BDSP. That link is down below. You guys have been crazy with the support of it, so I do appreciate it. Like I said, today is the final day. It's gone after today. Let's get into it. So Magnezone, excellent Pokemon, right? A fantastic special attack, really solid defense as well, and pretty decent special defense as well. And being electric and steel has some pretty key resistances. One of the big one, of course, being fairy. The other big one being dragon, and psychic is also a pretty cool one to resist as well. So those are like the big ones when it comes to the OU tier. I guess a steel as well because it always traps Scizor, and bug too because it traps Scizor. But yeah, that's the main reason you use Magnezone. You're basically using it to trap Scizor or Skarmory, unless they're running Shed Shell, and basically knock them out. So that way your Latios, your Gengar, your Starmie, your these are all, in Scizor's case, right? Your Mamoswine can all put in work simply because Scizor is gone. So just some really good partners for Magnezone really quick, and this would be good for Magneton as well. But Dragmag is this playstyle where people use Magnezone or Magneton, and then they use usually a bunch of dragons, just because you use Magnezone to get rid of the steel types, and then you use the dragons to just put in work for everything else. Also, Magnezone being able to do a ton and get rid of fairy types as well is really big for that playstyle too. So Latios, Dragonite, Flygon, Salamence, doesn't matter, they're all, Garchomp, they're all great partners with Magnezone. Mamoswine is another great partner too. Appreciate Skarmory and Scizor being gone. So the first set we have is the Choice Spec set, and this set can run Magnet Pull or Analytic. As you get higher up on the ladder, sometimes people like to bluff, shout out to Blim, that they're Magnet Pull, and people will not usually switch, meaning that they can trap Scizor, or if they do end up switching, you do a ton with the Analytic boosted attack. Because Analytic is not only boosted if you go after your opponent, but also if your opponent switches in that turn, you will be hitting the Pokemon coming in with an Analytic boosted attack. So Modest is the preferred nature just because you hit incredibly hard. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and Flash Cannon are your given moves. Flash Cannon, obviously, you're just strong move versus fairies and good neutral, like you're doing a lot to Latios and Garchomp as well. If you're actually Analytic boosted, you knock out Garchomp, which is pretty funny. But yeah, same thing. Latios after rocks, and just it's just insane how strong this thing is with Analytic. But a lot of time you're going to use Magnet Pull because, again, being able to trap Skarmory and Scizor unless they're running Shed Shell is really, really cool. So Thunderbolt does a ton to Scizor, and even just weakening it can help out a Latios or any special attacker like Alakazam. Volt Switch gives you momentum if you need a KO Pokemon. It's also cool because Magnezone is really good versus Stall when you pair it with a strong physical breaker as well. Just because once Quagsire or their ground type is gone, you can kind of just Volt Switch on everything, even on Blissey. It has to come in and you Volt Switch, you're doing a lot to it. Your last move is either Thunder or Tri-Attack. Magnezone does not have access to Toxic right now. It also doesn't have access to Hidden Power, because otherwise Hidden Power Fire would obviously be here to pick up the KO on Scizor. So why would you use Thunder? Thunder is a full-on KO on the more physically off defensive Scizors. So that's one of the reasons. Also a guaranteed KO on Max Special Defense and Empoleon. Something that Thunderbolt is a roll because it does like 92 to 108 or something like that. Also, obviously, if you're fighting rain, it just does a lot of damage. The other reason is just Tri-Attack. It's just a neutral move, not really the greatest. For the most part, you're clicking Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, and Volt Switch. I actually just put Thunder on it just because I rarely need those neutral moves, and even if you do need those neutral moves, they rarely do enough to the ground type or anything to really matter, personally. Just pair it with some good Pokemon. Like, you know, Gliscor is a fantastic partner as well for Magnezone, obviously resisting the fighting and the ground type attacks coming out at Magnezone, and also it can take most of the fire type attacks aimed at Magnezone too. And Magnezone can resist the ice type attacks aimed at that. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Magnezone. Now, the reason you use Choice Scarf Magnezone is because you are faster than Latios, you're faster than Infernape, you're faster than Garchomp, and things like that. The main reason is your team might be a little bit weak to Skarmory, but also, and you feel fine versus Scizor, but you're also a little bit weak to Swords and Lucario, hence enter Choice Scarf Magnezone. You have the Magnet Pull, so your opponent cannot switch if they are Steel type. You do enough damage to them with Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon and Volt Switch respectively. You do like 70% to Lucario. Also, if they've close combated into something else, you could knock them out after a little bit more chip because they take the Life Orb and Stealth Rock, potentially. 2. You want to go timid on this. The only downside of this Magnezone is that it's slower than Starmie. I wish Magnezone was just a little bit faster, because being faster than Starmie would be amazing, especially in this meta game. But being faster than Gengar and Latias are really cool. And threats like Dragonite that you don't do too much to, you can actually go for Thunder Wave as your last move just to slow them down for another teammate. And whether you actually get the Thunder Wave off or your opponent has a Lumberry, you've at least burnt the Lumberry, which means that if they go for Outrage, they have a chance to hit themselves in Confusion later, or you can Will-O-Wisp or do something like that with another partner. So Scarf Magnezone is also good for picking up KOs on Pokemon like Mamoswine, which are usually not fearing Magnezone being faster than it. Nope, you outspeed it, you knock it out with Flash Cannon, respectively. And then the last set we have is using Sturdy, and this is a pretty cool set. I've actually fought this a couple times. There's also a Sub-Magnezone set, but I don't think it's very good personally. I do not like Sub-Magnezone. It's just a little bit too weak. And it doesn't have the speed. It can't really do much. Like, I just think it's just there. And it doesn't even beat Scizor. So, like, I don't think it's necessary. But Sturdy is pretty cool because as long as you're at full HP, you basically have a Focus Sash. So, let's say your opponent has a Heatran, you have Magnezone out, they go for Earth Power, you live their hit because of your Sturdy, you knock them out with Mirror Coat. This is also cool for, you know, like Gengar, any special attackers that might be able to threaten you. You go for Mirror Coat, they'll live their hit because of Sturdy. And then, because you're at Sturdy, you're at 1 HP, you're going to actually get your Custom Variant, and that allows you to get off a following attack after, whether it be a Thunderbolt, a Flash Cannon, a Volt Switch for momentum, or a Thunder Wave just to cripple a threat that has set up. So it's just a different way of using Magnezone to take advantage of Mirror Coat. There's no Assault Vest in this game, so you won't see Assault Vest Magnezone in this game with Mirror Coat. That's the other set you'd use it on, because Assault Vest does work with Mirror Coat, and it's really good too. But just a fun way to use Sturdy Magnezone, and it can get a lot of mileage depending on a team, especially if your opponent has like a more offensive team. So, now that we have Magnezone, we have Magneton. Now, why the hell would you use Magneton? Like I said, if you're playing in the lower tier like UU or RU, well, UU in this case, because Magneton is UU, you can't use Magnezone because Magnezone is OU by usage, so enter Magneton. And Magneton works in the lower tiers just like Magnezone works in the higher tiers. So, one of the more common teams, like I said, with Magneton was Dragmag, and this is when Salamence was UU, and it was Salamence, Flygon, Magneton, Donphan, and +2. And Magneton's main role was to get rid of Bronzong, which was the biggest steel type that could deal with Salamence in the tier. That was like the main steel type. The other steel type is obviously Magneton. Now, this isn't actually the set that deals with that, but it's still also Fortress as well. Still also a good Pokemon. So the first set we have is Choice. It could either be Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. You could also use Choice Scarf Magneton in a higher tier just because it is faster than Starmie, faster than Alakazam, faster than Weavile, so that's a really good speed tier to have, and being able to deal with them via Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch respectively. And again, you can use Magnet Pull or Analytic, especially in lower tiers on the Spec set, or even on Scarf, you can use Analytic just because it hits so incredibly hard and it has a really good speed tier over some nice threats. So Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, Tri-Attack respectively. Thunder Wave you're using on Choice Scarf if you really want to. But again, the main thing about this Pokemon is the Volt Switch around. Trap Fortress, do a lot to it with Thunderbolt, and trap Bronzong. But if you want to trap Bronzong to let your dragons do work, right? Bronzong has access to Earthquake. You got to be careful. So that's why you have the Substitute Magnet Rise set with Thunderbolt and Flash Cannon. So the idea of this is with Magnet Pull, you bring it in on Bronzong, right? Then you go for Magnet Rise. As they go for Earthquake, they can't touch you because you are levitating because of Magnet Rise. Then you go for Substitute because Bronzong's Gyro Balls and Psychics will not be able to break your sub. And basically the goal is to end up behind a sub while beating Bronzong, not only letting your Pokemon like Flygon and maybe like Espeon or whatever, Linoon. Linoon's pretty cool too. I used Linoon the other day, and I used Magneton to get rid of Fortresses or weaken them for Linoon. And also Bronzong, but I didn't really fight a Bronzong. I also use it just for its natural resistances for Amapom, which is pretty cool too. But the idea is you get rid of the Bronzong and allowing you to set up with your Pokemon, even like a Porygon or anything like that. Just basically, Bronzong is a good special wall or a good physical wall depending, and it just has some good natural resistances being a steel type. So being able to get rid of that with Magneton, allowing your other teammates to put in a lot of work. Both of them are very good at what they do in my opinion, and as the tiers change, Specs is, I still think Specs is amazing, and I think it actually got a little bit better in the UU tier 2 because not only is Salamence gone, but Donphan is gone. That's one of the main ground types in the tier that could actually stop it from volt switching. Not to say that a Spec Splash Cannon won't bring it down to Sturdy, but of course they have Sturdy, they live, and then they knock you out with Earthquake. But that's basically all I have for you guys today with Magnezone and Magneton. Both very good Pokemon. I love using Magnezone. Probably one of my favorite partners to pair with anything that I want to work. Basically, if I want to use a Skitty in OU, what do I need to get rid of to get Skitty to work? Well, probably everything. So let's evolve it to Delcatty. Still probably everything. So Magnezone is a great partner in Magneton just because they can get rid of Skarmory and Scizor. So allowing Scizor the number one most used Pokemon, allowing my Mon to put in a lot of work. And then you can just pair it with some other partners. You definitely want to pair it with things that can deal with Glasgow. So Run and Wash is actually still decent with Magnezone, even though they're both electric types. Slowbro, Tangrowth, Weavile, Mamoswine, all great partners. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And also, like I said, today is the final day to pick up my BDSP launch merch. Get that now. The link is down below. Won't come back. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.